Not too loud. Welcome to the Reverend Father Livermore. I am so excited. Thank you all so much for coming today. I truly appreciate it. Here we'll start off with the pledge. And Ms. Carol Howard, would you lead us in the today? I pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it
Okay, we have a thought for the day from Jewel. Jeez, I'm sorry. Downstairs. Sorry. I'm just excited. Thank you so much. We were our own best form of entertainment here. That was mine. Now, thought for the day.
So I did not wear my t-shirt that says 50% of my brain is taken up with song lyrics. But it is. And I've been singing since third grade in groups. So church choirs, glee clubs, symphony choruses, local chorales, choral shop quartets, sea shanty groups, you name it. I've sung stuff. Singing is an amazing thing, and when you sing in a group, what happens to your brain? Well, we're good. And stuff does happen when people sing in chorus. And from the Rotary Songbook of 1956, there were several things that they mentioned what Rotarians sing for. It is a social lover. If the guy next to you can't carry a tune and you can't carry a tune, you're in. And if it's supported by the Rotary, it is a form of relaxation. They've actually done studies on monks in the Himalayas and seen that when we chant together, blood pressure goes down and we start feeling pretty good. It's kind of like singing the blues. You can't stay sad for too long. You can do that. It's still in the Alliance of Hearts, the spirit that holds the club together. I'm glad to see you all here today, and I'm glad to hear you sing. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much thank you for that, Joel. Okay, let's introduce the amazing people that make this all happen. We have our SPUR reporter today, Beth Wilson, SPUR publisher, Dawn Wentz, our webmaster, or mistress, should that be Kathy Coyle, photographer, or Stowers, audio visual, Dennis O'Brien, Zoom host and chat monitor, Pat Coyle. And our greeter today is Marianne Rosa, and our traveling mic is Don Sweeney. So thank you all for okay, my next thing is the check table. Okay, it's a work in progress. Next week we'll get it dialed in. I can tell definitely I didn't quite have all my ducks in a row, but our checking table will be more orderly next week. We are going to have hopefully like Norm and Sonia. I heard through the grapevine that since I'm bringing back the checking table, Lance Cavallari is going to try and attend this meeting. I'm very excited about that. And then Sergeant at Arms. Okay, where's our mic? Real quick. Okay, Sergeant at Arms. So graciously, Bob Bishop and Trick Donovan are offered to help with that. And I just want to give you, we were supposed to start the 50-50 raffle today, but we had a little hiccup with this. And I just, Bob had an idea of how to sell this. And I just wanted to let you know, let's start this next week. So I apologize, we're not ready this week. And Bob, just kind of give them a little snippet of what your thought was. So on the side there.
I was thinking that for the raffle, instead of hitting everybody at the desk when they come in, we just walk around while you're eating and kind of go table by table, collect money, sell raffle tickets. I think the process by which your tickets pulled and then you get a chance to pull a marble, that's above my pay grade. 50-50 raffle, you win 50% of the pot.
If you get the right marble, and there's 4 or 5 that are for a bottle of wine, and then the rest, which I didn't realize, you get $1 for that. But Jessica from help me, EMJ Design, EMJ Winery. Am I saying? Has graciously offered some tchotchkes to put in with that. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for stepping up. We really appreciate it. We'll get this rolling next week. All right, thank you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're going to start off with visiting Rotarians. We're going to Zoom land.
Be at this first.
Oh, we're going to do. Oh, Jesus, where is it? We never talk. It's right here. And Christy Leslie, please come up and do your member talk. I am so sorry. Okay, see what happens when I get too excited.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, I'm so weird.
Somebody wave at me when I question. Okay. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christine Muncie, and I joined in June. I think I was sworn in, so I'm fairly new. And so I thought that I would give you just a little background on my amazing journey where I am today. I'm the youngest of 4 daughters to Gary and Noel. I was the last Noel. My dad had no daughters. When I was growing up, my dad was a serial entrepreneur, so I've been in and around small business my whole life. His dream was to be a rancher. Which was crushed. I was born in the kind of ranch burn and they lost everything. And he then he's done concrete work, he's done custom log homes, custom built homes, he did road pioneering, he had bronze foundry, he was a powder monkey, and along all of these things he had sawmill, he was a saddle builder. And along all of these things, journeys that he took, I was there. I was the youngest. And so I had no choice in the matter. But it got a lot for me over the years. It's funny, I look back and I'm the youngest of 4 girls. I'm the only one that I was born in the year of marriage firm. So all 3 of my older sisters, who were 7, 5, and 3, are very things oriented. They're very security oriented. For them, and this just cracks me up, when that entrepreneurship is failing, if you can't get a job, then you may do with whatever skills you have. And that just blows my mind because we need leaders and we need people that are out there pushing the boundaries of what comes next. So that's exciting. I graduated in May of 03, and about 2 weeks later, I had $200 in the bank and a car, and I was gone. I was born in a town of 1,700 people. I graduated with 22 other souls that I started kindergarten with. And more than a third of them, more than 2/3 of them, were into are related. So some of them don't know the difference. When I got to California, I did a year at the Fashion Studio Design and Merchandising. I worked in fashion. I worked, had a lot of odd jobs, and I've kind of fallen back to doing admin and consulting. I was told my mother if I had to write a resume, I'd have to list myself as a economist. Because what I did for a long time was I went to 1 and 2 man businesses, like my parents, who like to take all of their receipts from the year and stick them in a shoebox. And then the IRS comes knocking, and they have no idea how to do that. And so I did a lot of preparing procedures and processes and getting 1 and 2 man businesses up and running, and decided that it was time for me to do that for me. At one point, I had a tea company called Must Tea because I'm creative like that. And then briefly during the cannabis became legal, I had a mobile dispensary, and I worked exclusively with hospice and end of life. And then after that, I went back to a little bit of consulting for a while, and the pandemic hit. And I sat around for a whopping 3 days before I was climbing the walls. And I kept seeing these ads for like women break machines. I've never run a breaking machine before. I thought, sure, why not? Yeah, so I called my parents. I said, "Hey, how would you like to co-sign a $16,000 machine?" And my parents, who are absolutely phenomenal, said, "Yes, do this." And that's so now for 3 years, I've been writing my own story. I'm a single mom. I got 2 amazing screaming demons who are currently with my parents at Oregon. So I got 2 weeks free. But they're 11 and 13. I'm home with them. I work on my garage. I'm there every day for them, much to their children. I get to watch what they do. I get to put them to work. My business is fighting for me, less for them. And so that's kind of how I got to where I am here today. Business was a big part of why I joined Rotary, business and community, and being able to say thank you to the community that has made it possible for my business to thrive. And so thank you all very much for your welcome.
Thank you, Christine. And I do want to say, one of the directors, she was very beneficial to my mother-in-law during a very difficult time in her life. So I will forever be grateful for that. So thank you so much. Okay, so now visiting Rotarians. So let's start in Zoom land. Do we have any visiting Rotarians?
President Sheila, we do not, nor do we have any guests when you get to that point.
All right, okay, so let's start here in our room. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? There we go, okay, we got a couple, okay, let's start. Go right ahead, okay, who's gonna be introducing them? Somebody needs to introduce our visiting Rotarian.
So this is.
And his classification is natural. Yeah. Okay, and we all say. It's process.
Madam President, fellow Rotarians and guests, it's my privilege to welcome Kathleen Meisner from the Army Club. She is in real estate.
Fantastic. All right, and. Okay, Ms. Faculty, as you very well can see, we're working on bringing back some old school stuff.
Gotcha.
I tell you, I got a great group. I'm so blessed. Okay, grants to Rotarians. This is gonna be a workout for you, Mr. Sweetie.
Okay, so this is Pamela Jacobson, and she's here with Girls Soccer Worldwide. And it's a phenomenal opportunity to support girls in developing countries.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome. Okay, our next guest.
There we go, Madam President and members of Rotary. I'm going to introduce here Mary Puthoff, and Mary was the former administrator and the person who ran the Livermore American Indian Center. And she ran that all the way from 1978 until early this year. Okay. Yeah. And our speaker took over for her. So that's who we're going to hear from.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay.
I don't think the police line here. Right. Get it out. All right.
It's a process.
Madam President, fellow Rotarians, I'd like to introduce Ally. Ally comes to us by way of Madam President. She's a co-worker of Sheila, so welcome.
Thank you. I would like to play witness to what I do so she can tell the boss that I'm actually doing something. All right, let's go here next. I'm doing announcements. Other things before we get to the list. Number one, could you please give the microphone to Ms. Kathleen Mincer for a quick second? She has just a little quick announcement, and I will hold up the information because this, oh geez.
All right, so if you know Bill Boomerang or myself, you'll know Little League World Series is about to land here in Livermore in a couple of weeks. So if you're in the area, the first game is July 30th and it goes through August 6th. We're on ESPN Plus every day, every game, 4 games a day. So, and I am personally looking for national anthem singers, and I need them for the US national anthem, but I also need it in other languages. So if you know somebody out there that sings national anthem, have them, and we're gonna hold a Sheila or they don't hear the love to have you out there. So.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Sponsors, you think you can work out another language form? Okay, one of the things I just wanted to remind everybody, I am so glad you're all here. We have more people than we initially had scheduled, so that's so exciting to me. And Jen was able to accommodate all of us for lunch, which was wonderful this time. Lunch so far. Allie, you see that thumbs up just like we're in the preschool. I love the thumbs up. So if we could all just do Jen a favor, and if we could please let us know at least by Friday evening, Monday morning would even be Monday would be great at the latest. just to help her make sure, because she has to buy the food. This is not the normal fare, because this is a banquet environment. So if you could do that, that would be very much appreciated. Okay, next here, please. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, another thing, we are bringing back, last week we had Kimberly doing with the thought for the day. Today, I have another red badger working on greeters. So Christina C will be sending around a clipboard today, because we love them clipboards, right? And we love them clipboards. So we're sending around a clipboard through the end of the year. Now, I know there's a couple that are dark, so somebody that's higher than my pay grade with Rotary can look at those 2 dates. I know there's a couple on there. But if you would please sign up for that, put your email address, and Christine will be reminding you before that you're the greeter. Because I would like to have that again. It's a very important part of who we are.
Readers don't have to be red badgers.
No, greeters do not have to be red badgers. A greeter is any one of you. Now, what's wonderful is Christine is trying to work really hard in getting her blue badge. She'll be, I think, at my meeting tomorrow. So what I'm going to be trying to do is reach out to red badgers and have them help us with some of these tasks. Getting them more familiar with our club, learning your names, who you are, because that's what you folks did for me. You embraced me and made me part of this club. So it's my job to do that now with all of you, and I have Debbie to thank for that. But again, Chrissy will be sending that around. So if you would please sign up, and it's just through the end of the year, we would appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. Okay. Oh. So there's a couple of things going on right now, and I have to tell you, Brian is my new favorite person because you're amazing. It's a fine time to find you, Lucille. So there's a few of you out there that have some special things going on in your life. First of all, there's one person that I'd like you to take the mic to, and that is Norm. There's something happening. No, not today. Oh, it's not going to happen today. Okay, we're going to move right along.
You can sing.
So, is there something special going on in your life right now, Mr. Don? Can you maybe enlighten all of us and enlighten your wallet in the place?
Well, I don't know if there's anything special, but I did have the opportunity to babysit my 10-year-old granddaughter last week. And that was fun, all by myself. We got to go out to lunch, we got to go to a show. But I also thought I could teach her how to play poker. And so we went for about 2 hours. And at the end of 2 hours, she had all the tricks. So I guess it's an apology to the rest of the world.
She's a shredder.
Yeah, to make my president's amends for the year. $500 to Rotary Foundation Annual Fund, $500 to Polio Plus. And then for Rotarian Foundation in Livermore, let's say that carefully. $500 to Music Scout. What's it called? A lunch money fund?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep that on my granddaughter's little grandpa because that's a good house, right? Okay, and actually, I have another young lady in this group that has been an amazing grandma this summer so far. And she's gone above and beyond, and that's so nice. So, John, can you get Sonia the mic? She's, I don't maybe need to give her a badge.
Yeah, well, I can't follow up with Dawn.
Anyway, so I had Camp Grandma 2 weeks ago with 14 kids and we. And the first day we went to the county fair. This day. I couldn't keep them all together, but we did ice skating, we did the fair, we went to rock and jump, we did all the routines. So I had last week to recover, and then this week, my 21-year-old granddaughter is having her birthday at my house with all her friends, which I didn't know about until today. So, because of that, I'll share the first one.
It sounds like it's a theme. Times and waiting. Okay, couple quick things. We, on your tables, there's a couple things. Number one, there's a picture of you look at that picture. This is an item that went up at our crab feed. It didn't quite make the cut. It didn't get sold, or the person, I'm not quite sure what happened. So Mike Thompson has brought that back and offered it to us again. And what we're gonna do, this is a little teaser, next week we'll auction this off. But it's a week stay at this beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath penthouse in Carmel. From August 31st to September 7th. And whatever monies we raise, we would like to ask that they go to one of the foundations to help them out. And the starting bid is $1,800. That looks like it'd be what, $250 a month?
Yeah.
That's nothing. So anyway,
Okay.
we'll be bringing that back. I mean,
Get her 250.
yeah, yeah, that would take you over right up to the
Common watch.
the common law.
So they ask me to spin it back.
Exactly. Anyway, you want to say, anyway, but just wanted to throw this out there. I might work with Joel sending out another kind of a case or email on this, but just to wet your whistle. There's some of you that might need to go home and ask your significant other about bidding on this, so we would very much love for you to start this item and raise a little bit of money. My going to have a spur form to do the spur report. So I'm going to be working with a red badger because I love red badgers, and I'm going to have someone kind of help coordinate organizing people to do the spur. But what I've learned by looking at this simple form, it is not that difficult. I was afraid of the spur, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit of a squirrel, as you will probably know. So this form kind of shows you it's very minimal what you need to put down. So I just wanted to show you what the format is and what's expected. And we will be having a red badger approaching you with a clipboard soon to get us set up to do the spur. I know the spur is still very important to everyone. So I want to make sure that we are fulfilling that duty and getting the spur done. Okay. Oh, so without further ado, I would like to have Mark come up and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Madam President. Did you get all your stuff?
Yes, I did.
Anything else we need help?
No, I
carrying
did.
away?
I did.
Okay. All right, good afternoon. We are very excited today. So you'll remember our first week was President Sheila talking to us about how things were gonna be. And then the second week was President Sheila talking to us about how things should be. Okay, so this actually is a real life speaker this time. Very excited to have our very first speaker of this Rotary year, be Tina Henson. And Tina is local. She was born right here in Pleasanton. But she's part of the Dakota tribe, Spirit Lake, North Dakota. And if I get this just a little long, I'm gonna fix it for me. But the reason she's speaking to us today is, she is the new program director of the Livermore American Indian Center. Now, if you were paying attention, you heard me introduce Mary, Christina's grandmother. So all of us should bring our grandmothers to Rotary when we have our presentation today. So that we sort of improve the quality. But Mary is impressive in her own way. She's the first program director of the Livermore American Indian Center. And she was the program director from 1978 until early this year. So that's a long run doing this. So please welcome Tina, who's going to tell us about the Livermore American Indian Center. Welcome, Tina.
Right out. If I could have somebody pass these around for me, I don't know if I started enough very much. I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but maybe just a few of this people. Let's just kind of some information about the Native American Center to kind of look through as I'm talking about you today. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm just getting my feet wet, I guess. I'm about 6 months into the job now, and I am starting every single moment I was with my grandmother being the state of the center for some years. I was honored to actually be raised in the program. So I think that kind of maybe a little bit of the upper hand on people applying. Not that they weren't beautiful, but I was kind of born and raised in the program. My grandma brought me to her classes when I really can walk. There's pictures of me from when I was born, and so I'm becoming 30 years. So again, I'm so humbled, so honored. Let me just go ahead and get this in. All right, okay, so I'm a hand talker, so I just need to put that down a little bit. But you guys have asked me today to come and give a little presentation about the California Native tribes of this area. So I just put together a little bit of information. Myself, I just wanted to introduce myself again. I know we were running it briefly, but me and grandma are actually from the plains side of North Dakota, South Dakota area. My grandma was born in Rosebud, South Dakota, so a little information. Unfortunately, it's actually, what would you say? It's actually like known as one of the forest reservations in the United States. There's not much going on there, but it's where we're from and it's beautiful. If you ever do get a chance to go to South Dakota and check out the Badlands, it's just, there's something in the air there. So I can't even explain it. It's beautiful. We do have Mount Rushmore there also, which is actually a traditional mountain to our people. But now it's got some other faces on there, but still a nice set to see. One thing that I do want to share with you guys, we are building another monument out there, Creepy Horse. Although it is a nice homage to our people, it is great that we're getting some recognition. But a fun fact that I'd like to share with you people is we don't know who that guy is up there. Unfortunately, Crazy Horse never let his picture be taken. A lot of Native Americans back in the day believed that if their picture was taken, a part of their soul was taken with them. So he was very adamant about that tradition. He never let his picture be taken. I've never seen that. My grandma's ever seen one. None of the people from my tribe have never seen a picture of him. He's only, we know him because he's a very powerful person to us, a very important person to us. But we don't know his face. So we always kind of joke. We're like, thanks for that, but we don't know who that guy is. So again, you're from the Plains area, but one of the amazing things that my grandma told me, and it's told me my entire life, is with this job, we are able to learn something new about Native Americans every single day. So at my little classroom, I wanted to also say, the classroom is through the Livermore School District. So that's, I have a classroom at Lawrence Elementary School, Old Portola, if you're familiar with it. And so basically I go to, or I'm put and housed at a school until the school needs that classroom. So my grandma was at Joe Mitchell, she was at Junction, she's been at Rancho, and now we're at Lawrence. Hopefully we'll stay there for a while, but if Lawrence gets bigger, of course, I'm more than willing to move, but don't keep us in Livermore, I hope. We actually house 4 local districts. We have Livermore, Pleasanton, Dublin, and Castro Valley. My hope and goal is to maybe include San Ramon down the line, and just more of the Tri-Valley. I want everybody to be included, and I want everybody to have these resources available to them. So the day is just an example of what I can put together for the local teachers in our districts. Unfortunately, Native American history gets about half a chapter, if that. I used to get in trouble all the time in school because they would come to Native American history, and I'm this quiet student and I don't say much all year, but when it comes to Native American history, I make sure to tell my teacher if he was telling it wrong. And the funniest part is he would get kind of flustered and he's I'm telling the truth. And it was always a debacle. And a couple times my grandma had to come and be like, sorry, man, she's telling the truth. And I don't think I'm particularly a favorite teacher, but hey, we all learn something, didn't we? So I like to, one of the big things that I've been putting a focus into in my first 6 months is kind of making these presentations and kind of sending them out to teachers and seeing if they would like to use them. I mean, of course, there's no question. But it's just I have a classroom full of Native American information, and if your textbook only is giving you half a chapter of Native Americans, why not sprinkle a couple more of these in? So I threw a little one together, just giving you some basic information about the local California Native tribes. There's so many, to be honest. I could talk to you probably for about 3 days worth of information, and that would only tackle maybe Northern California. There's so many tribes in California, but unfortunately not all of them are federally recognized also. Right now, the American tribe actually the Ohlone people. I'm still learning names, so forgive me. But they actually just lost their recognition in the last few years. Unfortunately, there's not enough of them band together to prove that they inhabited the land long enough. So they unfortunately lost their recognition. They're fighting to this day to say, hey, my people have been here before the time. And you're going to say that this land isn't ours. So right now, that's kind of the bigger kind of thing for the Oakland area. I definitely will keep you guys in the loop on it, and hopefully they'll get their recognition back. Hopefully they'll be able to get some recognition. But Berkeley, actually, I'm very impressed with the city of Berkeley. When you go to their city, when you see the welcoming sign, you see Livermore population 8,000. Whatever, 800,010, I think one of those. I remember when I was younger, I was 70,000 hours in Preston now. Berkeley sign actually says, welcome to Berkeley, Ohlone land. So it's showing that the Bay Area does want to make changes. We do want to recognize the people in here. It's just taking a little bit of time. And so with that, I'll start my presentation. The first little slide we've got, if you want to go over. Yeah. Just kind of welcoming an introduction. So I'm just going to go over the local tribes, the way that they live, and book recommendations for you also, just because, like I said, I can share all the information, and I'm reading new books every day, so why not share them with you? So that I included is the map of California. That is just a generalization, that first map there, of kind of where the local tribes inhabited California. As you can see, there are, I don't even know how many colors there are on that. And within those colors, there's even more subcategories. So those are just the general bigger tribes, and then within those tribes themselves, they break up even more. Then the map to the right of that is a little bit closer zoomed in on the Bay Area. And again, those are just the bigger names that the tribes of this area went by. And then as we dig deeper, there's more subcategories in there as well. I also brought this map with me. You guys are welcome to come take a look at it. I'll leave it up here for a bit. And this just also breaks down the tribes as well. So this kind of zooms in on the general Bay Area. kind of California area, and then this itself zooms in just on the East Bay. And as you can see, there'll be similar names on there that they'll be here, but they just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. There's so many tracks. And so the main one that I kind of wanted to speak to you about is the Ohlone people, because that's the main one that I think a lot of you have at least maybe heard of. So the Ohlone people is the general name again for the tribe that lived in this area, and then there's so many subcategories of that Ohlone people. But as long as you recognize and understand that the Ohlone are the ones that are here, you're doing fine. You're giving them the credit. So I'll give you a little on the back. Thank you. So yeah, as long as you don't have to get into the finer details of the rock, all of these smaller tracks, as long as you recognize that you're on Ohlone land, trust me, you'll be in the good graces by the Native Americans. A lot of people lived in this area. A lot of the obviously Native Americans used every single resource that we had. As I got here today, there was a deer that was beautiful. And then as you can tell on the traditional outfits that the people are wearing in that picture, they used a lot of the deer skin. They used a lot of feathers from the ducks, feathers from the turkeys. Those were their main resources here in California. They were also fishermen as well, because we have the beautiful Bay Area over there. And so their houses were made out of kind of the tules and the straw. If you ever have a chance to go to Coyote Hills over in the Fremont area, you can take a beautiful tour into the tules, and you can see a life-size model of what they used to live in. At our center personally, because we are Plains people, we actually have a life-size TV that we put up for presentations. So it's nice to be able to go around the area and see the different homes that we used to all live in. That is one of the #1 questions that I feel I get from students when I go to give presentations, is they ask down the street, and they just remind me again, there's their ability to used to live off the land. Acorns were also a predominant part of their resources. The cool thing that I learned about the Native Americans of this area is that they learned that acorns produce acorns every 2 years. So they would pick 2 trees, they would leave 2 trees, they would pick 2 trees, they would leave 2 trees. So that way they could sustain acorns throughout the whole year, throughout the whole season. Unfortunately, when settlers came, they thought that the Native Americans didn't know how to farm right, so they clear cut everything and started fresh. So unfortunately, there are some resources that could have been a little bit more immersed between the two cultures. But here, we're still here today, so we're trying. Again, there's a picture of their outfits that they wear. And the one that I've also learned is that California natives, you will often see them out at public events. Whereas so when you ask like a person of the Plains or a person who does powwow dancing, we'll show up and be in our powwow outfit right here and we'll dance at any moment. California dancers, I think because of the history that they went through with the mission system, they're very protective of their traditions, of their cultures, and of their outfits. They don't share it very often. So if you do get the chance to be somewhere where they have a presentation of California native dancing, be very, very honored, because you don't get to see that very often. I think in my childhood or in my life in general, I've seen about maybe 5 presentations with California natives. Although they are here still practicing and doing everything that they can, they just prefer to keep it a little bit more to themselves. But if you ever do get the opportunity, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And Coyote Hills is one of those places that do offer open to the public presentations like that. I can get you guys more information when they send me their invite and things like that. And I can send it through email. Just in case you guys are interested, they're always free to the public open meetings. It's at East Bay Park, so it's open to the public. And then my next little slides here is just some books. Like I said, unfortunately, I couldn't share everything with you guys. But I have some books about the destruction of California Indians. It just shows, or it tells the more deeper native narrative of the mission system. Although Mission San Jose in Fremont is beautiful, it does have a dark history. And it's important that our people and that everybody learn that history. But the main thing when you do learn about it is resilience. Resilience is the #1, I would say, adjective that I would link with Native Americans and just in general, because we have such a dark history, but we're very resilient. And so these books here just kind of give that narrative. And if you're ever able to check it out, that's great. Also, They're There by Tommy Orange is a Bay Area native. It's a fiction book, but it's awesome because he talks about Oakland, he talks about the Native American Health Center and the Intertribal Friendship House, and that still exists today. I still, they have dance class every Wednesday, so it's pretty cool to know that he's a Bay Area native and he wrote about his experience here and kind of a fictional fun powwow story. So that's a good one. We always like to share with you guys, and we've had him come to the Indian Center, or like maybe once or twice now, just to talk with the students as well. So and then the two children's books, if you are ever interested, or your grandkids with children would like just a little bit of a culture Native American book. Fry bread is amazing. That's one of it's a delicious bread. And the other one is so that you can see how we still share our culture today. And yeah, that's my presentation. Hopefully it was a little.
Thank you. Wait, don't run away too quickly. All right. Well, let's give her another big round of applause. Okay. And do we have any questions? So we have back there Don Speaker at the next question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. When my son was when they said California, we did quite a reports and we studied in the museum. Our favorite book that I felt we learned a lot was The Running Way by Mark. Mark, and later I again, a feel for how life is like to deal with people. So can you comment on that, please?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to read the book by my grandma. She is my librarian. She's read almost every book. She's my reader. I do know that there's always going to be controversy when it comes to a Native American story on who's telling it right and who's not telling it right. If you're including all the facts, if you're not including all the facts. So as far as what information was correct and what isn't, it's I'm here to say you have an opinion on that. The alumni women.
You know, as far as introduction.
So I mean, it's like I said, every book's gonna have their edits and critics, but as far from what I remember from the book also, it's pretty informative, so I would recommend it. We have it in our library.
You were mentioning the one Ohlone sub-tribe or whatever that wasn't properly recognized now, or I was interested in the way that you make a hierarchy of organization, in the sense, you know, we have states, we have counties, we have cities, etc. But of course, in each town has character and neighborhoods. But there's something more distinctive about tribes. And I was wondering if you could just explain a little bit about what makes a tribe distinctive as opposed to a settlement of the same.
It's tribes, it kind of goes back into getting thrown on reservations, getting lumped together. We as ourselves identify as a group or as a group of people. A nation is what it is. And so growing up, we're raised very much in knowing who your grandma is and you're a grandparent of this person. So a sense of family and a sense of where you came from is very important to the Native American tribe. And so I feel like that's why when it comes to breaking down and classifying what a tribe is, it's just a nation of people, but we just are so immersed and so proud of where we come from that we know where we grew up. We knew what land was ours. Unfortunately, we didn't necessarily write down or say, 3 acres that way was ours and 5 acres to the left is the next group of people. I guess that's kind of where it came down to hinder us in the end, because we didn't have that documented. Then the people who did come over were able to just kind of be like, well, you don't have documentation of it, so how can you prove it? And so I guess by us not getting our land taken away from us, it allows us to band together, and by us at least being recognized as a tribe, it gives us that sense of we're still here, and back to that resilience as well.
So just want to make a comment. I grew up in a town of Ohio. It's a big hill. And didn't think anything about it until I went back you know, maybe 10 years ago, found out it was an Indian guy. He was huge from the mound builders. A lot of mention in our community, not mentioned in school for Black Right Left. And then I happened to watch a couple of programs on TV about Native American history going back. Well, at one time it was 13,000 years. I believe now it's 23,000 years. Program telling them the biggest pyramid ever built was built in Mississippi before the big pyramid. Easy. So there's all this information about Native Americans, both in North and South America, that our kids aren't learning. There's a huge, huge amount of history. And I want to thank you for bringing your part, but I sure wish there was some way that our kids, my grandkids, can learn what the folks in these two continents were doing while the Europeans were doing their thing. So.
And so just to comment on that, that's kind of where I come in because I do have all that information, because I have this beautiful classroom, I'm able to go to more classrooms. I make the trip, and if a teacher says, hey, I want you to come and give a presentation, I have all this information, I have all these presentations. Classes come to me as well. As of right now, I have Junction's 5th and 4th grade coming in September to my classroom to do a few presentations and projects with them as well. And then I'm working on the Archie as well to come. They might come to me, I might go to them. But that's the main part and main focus of my job, is just provide that what's not in the textbook and the more deeper. Because I just learned that as well. I gave a presentation to Christensen Middle School about Trail of Tears, and I was learning that the Muskogee people had pyramids, and I just thought that was so mind blowing. That, like you said, that those pyramids were there longer, that they were bigger. That it's just a part of indigenous culture. The pyramids are all intertwined all over the world. So.
Question about your requirement. You talked about concealment, which I've never heard of. Is that your classroom or is that something else? Okay.
When you walk in the door, you guys are all welcome. Just give me a call before you guys want to stop by, because it is a part of it is in the school. So there is a gate, so I do have to get you inside. But you guys are more than welcome. I'm there Monday through Friday, 10 to 5. When you walk in the classroom, the first half of it is a library, and then I have a few display cases of California artifacts. I have artifacts from all over the nation, from Navajo Nation, from the Hopi people, from the Huron people. I have tons of artifacts in there, which I take to students to present, but then to the open public, it's kind of a museum. And so I want to share with the people more that I am there, that you can come and stop by, you can come check out all the school things. Even though I am a school district based program, I'm trying to share the news more to let people know that we have this beautiful center, and why not use the great resources that it can provide.
So I have a quick question. And one of my best friends is from Washington. I just spoke in Washington. And I'm curious what the relationship is from the tribes in California within the other states. I know that their tribe is super active. His sister is a full-time teacher teaching macaw. They have all these events all the time. He and his kids have tribal names and all this. So is that very, I mean, I'm always very fascinated talking to him and comparing that with the songs that we have. And there's a lot of similarities between that. But how much do the California tribes do with other tribes around the world?
Typically down in the Southern California area are a little bit more, they showcase their dancing and things like that. Whereas these more traditional dancers that I showed in the film up here in this area, they perform and stuff, but it's more out in the Sierras, the foothill area is where you'll see a lot more of their dancing. It all just kind of comes down to the state and the state's government. It's and how they work together with the tribes that have been here. Clearly, obviously, the Ohlone people are having a little bit more of struggle with the California government to get that recognition, to get the resources that they kind of need. Whereas other states, their tribe and their people have just been, I don't know how to explain it. They've just been more like just there, making more of a say for themselves. So some states do have, like I know Washington has a very good Native population. It's just a matter of them banding together and getting their resources and then working with the government to get it federally funded and things like that. Whereas the California tribes, they kind of run into a little bit more struggle because they don't have as much to, I guess they don't have enough fact history to provide saying that like we work here, that we have been doing this forever. So then the government kind of oversteps them. Whereas the other states and the other tribes have been like, no, we've got facts, like we've been here. So they're like, okay, we respect that a little bit. So it's always been a struggle, it will be a struggle unfortunately, but hey, there's people out there, we're gonna keep going and we're gonna keep fighting. So we've always been here, and we always will be, and that's how I've always been raised, at least to be taught, so. Any other?
Okay, one more.
We have a
Yeah, I
question
just
from
had
Zoom.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Zoom.
Yes, we have a question from Michael Ferrucci about whether Lisa is familiar with the website eastbayhillpeople.com and about the Volvan tribe from Mount Diablo. And then in addition, Michael asked whether or not Lisa is familiar with the book Native American Indian Sites in the East Bay Hills by James Binney.
So with me getting just 6 months into this, like my grandma said, I'm still learning every single tribe and all of that is in the area. That's why I started at the beginning, we can talk for 3 hours about just breaking down all of the tribes that are around us. So I know Mount Diablo have their own branch of Columbia people. Here in California, over here in Livermore, also has so many subcategories of them, but I'm definitely now that I know that Mount Diablo has its own. And then the book as well. I haven't heard of it. I haven't personally read it, but I'm definitely open to putting it on my book list. So if somebody drop that down, send that to me.
Thank you.
Your question?
Yeah, I just was curious. I went to school here and it's very impactful to me. So I was surprised to hear it's just a kind of a blip in the curriculum. So do you think the curriculum has decreased over the years or
Not going to cut you off, but yeah, just a little bit. Unfortunately, I feel through the years of my grandma's service and the teachers. There was, when I was younger in about my kindergarten through maybe kindergarten to about 4th grade, we were going to almost every school, giving a presentation, giving an assembly. We had a dance group of about 10 people or so, and we would go and present our culture. And it slowly trickled into just my grandma going and giving a handful of presentations. And whether or not that's the teacher, maybe it's a wave of the teachers new teachers not knowing that the center's there, or just not having time to make the dedication to have us come visit. But with me being new and having so much energy and optimism, I'm like, I want to go to every single school. So please tell your students or the students in your families that we have this wonderful center and that I'm welcome to come and give a presentation. And then I'm filling out my schedule very quickly. So if you would like to come, or if I can come to you, but
I just have one question. There's the power of let's stand. Do you take part of that?
I've never missed that powwow in my entire life. So I am 30 now. I've been there every single year, except for they did have it over the pandemic. But I've never missed it since then. It's the largest powwow in Northern California. It happens Mother's Day weekend at Stanford University. They have a beautiful community there that does a beautiful powwow. They have over 100 vendors. In its peak, they've had about, I'd say 20 different drum groups and over thousands of dancers. It's since gotten since the pandemic, it's a little smaller, but it's still one of the biggest ones in California. I have a couple resources with me also that are working that hopefully will be able to have a powwow at Las Positas College in November. It's not for certain just yet, but it's in plans, so fingers crossed. If not this November, at least hopefully by next November, we'll get something locked in, so. Of course, I would invite you all. It's another free event that's open. So
I just wanted to say that if anybody wants more information on, the Native Americans, that powwow is absolutely amazing. You learn so much and it's just things that we've never learned in school, and it's worth the trip.
yeah, so actually bringing up powwow, that is the #1 way that we are able to kind of share our culture. Unfortunately, it was banned through the missions. They banned our culture. We weren't allowed to share our culture, speak our language, or anything like that. Then it comes, we weren't even actually allowed to be citizens of the United States until later on years, even though we were here forever. So we had to stay a little hidden. But now the #1 way that we share our culture with people is with powwows. They're always free to the public. They happen all over the place. There's powwows is a big one. There's a few in Oakland that take place as well. Like I said, I'm trying to host one here at Las Positas College. Even this weekend on Saturday, there's one in Fairfield. So they happen all over the place. There's one in Sacramento in August. My email is on that form, if you would like to know which trials are going on, send me an email and I can add you to my list, because it's something that I send out to the families in my program. Just to let them know if their students would like to come to a powwow, community program, we'll be there, come say hi.
And I'm asking, echo that when my sister living there, you know. 60, 70, we didn't know a lot about, yeah. 1600s, yeah. Okay, one thing, next week, we have the honor of having, actually, it was by their business today, checking their garbage. Monarch Tractor, Greg Johnson, VP, is going to enlighten us about their amazing new technology and how that's going to, impact our industry and environment. A little reminder for next week, we will be here again at these. And I want to thank you all for being here today. I did have a very important, where's Flynn? It's okay, because it's just gonna get more expensive next week. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. You being here matters, and I am forever grateful and looking forward to seeing you all next week. Now, I quickly hid the gavel just because in case I turn it in the back, so excuse me. Not that I don't trust you. Anyway, thank you again for your time today. It meant a lot.